The remote mining colony on the planet Zephyria was a place where humans and the native Zephyrians coexisted, though uneasily. The Zephyrians were an enigmatic species, especially their females, who were shrouded in mystery and rumored to possess dangerous abilities. No one dared to interact closely with them until Jack, a curious and open-minded human, arrived. Jack stepped off the transport ship, taking in the unfamiliar sights of Zephyria. The air was thick with the scent of minerals and exotic plants. He was eager to start his new job as an engineer, but was even more curious about the alien species he had heard so much about. As he walked through the colony, he noticed how the humans kept their distance from the Zephyrians. The alien females, in particular, were always seen from afar, their presence acknowledged but avoided. Jack couldn't help but feel a mix of intrigue and sympathy. "Why is everyone so afraid of them?" he wondered aloud. His colleague, Sam, overheard him. "You're new here, aren't you? The females. They have some kind of power. No one really knows what it is, but it's enough to keep us away. Best to just follow the rules and not get involved." Jack nodded, but couldn't shake off his curiosity. He had always been the kind of person who questioned the status quo. Over the next few days, he observed the Zephyrians from a distance, fascinated by their elegance and grace. The way they moved, the way they interacted with their surroundings. It was all mesmerizing. One day, while Jack was repairing a malfunctioning generator near the Zephyrian quarters, he saw one of the females, Lyra, struggling with a piece of equipment. Without thinking, he approached her. "Need a hand?" he asked, smiling warmly. Lyra looked at him, surprise evident in her eyes. There was a moment of hesitation before she nodded. "Yes, please." "This connector is stuck." Jack quickly assessed the problem and fixed it. As he worked, he felt Lyra's gaze on him, a mix of curiosity and caution. When he was done, she thanked him softly. "You're the first human who has spoken to me in months." Jack was taken aback. "Really? That's surprising. I've heard a lot of things about your kind, but I don't believe in judging without knowing the truth." Lyra smiled, a hint of sadness in her eyes. "It's rare to find someone like you. Most humans prefer to keep their distance." Jack shrugged. "Maybe it's time for a change." As the days passed, Jack and Lyra's paths crossed more often. They exchanged small conversations and gradually began to know each other better. Jack learned that the fear surrounding the Zephyrian females was rooted in ignorance and misunderstanding. Lyra, like the others, was kind and intelligent, with a unique perspective on the world. Their budding friendship didn't go unnoticed. Some of Jack's colleagues warned him, while others were simply curious. Jack, however, remained undeterred. He saw the potential for a deeper connection, one that could bridge the gap between their species. Jack's journey on Zephyria had just begun, and he was determined to uncover the truth, no matter the challenges. Jack's natural curiosity led him to observe the Zephyrian females from a distance, fascinated by their elegance and grace. Despite warnings from his colleagues, Jack couldn't resist the urge to learn more. One day, he made a daring move to approach Lyra, a Zephyrian female. To his surprise, Lyra welcomed his curiosity and a cautious friendship began to form, breaking centuries-old barriers. Lyra and Jack started meeting regularly, their conversations deepening with each encounter. Jack found himself drawn to Lyra's stories about her people, their culture, and their abilities. One evening, as they sat by a luminescent lake, Lyra finally opened up about the mysterious power that had kept humans at bay. "We have empathic abilities," Lyra explained, her voice soft yet steady. "We can sense and share emotions with others. It's a deeply intimate connection, and it can be overwhelming for those who aren't used to it." Jack listened intently, his curiosity piqued. "So that's why humans are afraid? They don't understand this connection?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, many fear what they don't understand. Our abilities have been misinterpreted as dangerous, but it's not the case. It's a gift, one that allows us to form profound bonds. Jack thought about the implications. Have you ever connected with a human before? Lyra hesitated before answering. No, you're the first one who's ever shown any interest in understanding us. Their friendship grew stronger, and Jack began to advocate for the Zephyrians among his colleagues. He organized small gatherings where humans and Zephyrians could interact and share their experiences. Slowly, the walls of mistrust started to crumble, replaced by a growing sense of curiosity and mutual respect. One day, as Jack and Lyra were working together on a project, a group of miners approached them. The leader, a gruff man named Tom, looked at Jack with a mix of skepticism and curiosity. "Hey, Jack, we've been hearing about these meetings you're setting up. You really think we can trust them?" Jack glanced at Lyra, who gave him an encouraging nod. "I do, Tom. The Zephyrians aren't dangerous. They're just different, and it's our job to understand those differences. Lyra here has shown me that their abilities can actually help us work together more effectively." Tom looked at Lyra, then back at Jack. "All right, we'll give it a shot. But if anything goes wrong, it's on you." Over time, more humans began to attend the gatherings, and a tentative alliance started to form. Jack and Lyra's efforts were paying off, and the colony was slowly becoming a place of cooperation and mutual respect. One night, as Jack and Lyra sat under the stars, Lyra spoke up. "Thank you, Jack. You've done more for us than anyone ever has. Because of you, our people are starting to see each other as allies, not enemies." Jack smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. "It's not just me, Lyra. It's all of us. We're making this change together." Their journey was far from over, but Jack and Lyra were hopeful. They had taken the first steps toward a brighter future, one where humans and Zephyrians could coexist and thrive together. As Jack and Lyra grew closer, Jack discovered the truth behind the fear surrounding the Zephyrian females. They possessed empathic abilities that allowed them to connect deeply with other beings, sharing emotions and thoughts. This power was often misunderstood and feared by humans. However, Jack saw it as a gift and worked with Lyra to bridge the gap between their species. One evening, as they walked along the edge of the settlement, Lyra offered to share her empathic abilities with Jack. "I think it's time you experienced our connection firsthand," she said, her eyes reflecting the glow of the twin moons. Jack felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. "What do I need to do?" "Just relax and open your mind," Lyra instructed. She reached out and gently touched his forehead. Immediately, Jack felt a warmth spread through him, and his mind filled with a flood of emotions. Lyra's curiosity, her hopes, her fears, and a profound sense of peace. It was overwhelming at first, but then he began to understand. He felt the depth of Lyra's experiences and her genuine desire for understanding between their species. When the connection faded, Jack opened his eyes, a newfound respect for the Zephyrians evident in his expression. "That was incredible," he said softly. "I can see why people might be afraid, but it's nothing to fear. It's beautiful." Lyra smiled. "Thank you for trusting me. Now you understand why it's so important for us to bridge this gap." With this deeper understanding, Jack redoubled his efforts to foster cooperation between the humans and Zephyrians. He arranged more joint projects and social gatherings, encouraging others to experience the empathic connection. Some were hesitant, but gradually more humans began to open up to the idea. However, not everyone was convinced. A faction of humans, led by a man named Garrett, remained deeply suspicious of the Zephyrians. They believed the empathic abilities were a form of mind control and saw Jack's efforts as a threat to their autonomy. One day, as Jack was addressing a mixed group of humans and Zephyrians, Garrett and his followers interrupted. "This has gone on long enough," Garrett declared. We can't trust them. They're manipulating us with their powers. Jack stood firm. Garrett, that's not true. I've experienced their connection myself. It's about understanding and cooperation, not control. Garrett sneered. That's what they want you to believe. We need to protect ourselves. The tension was palpable, but before things could escalate, Lyra stepped forward. Please, let me show you. Let me share my mind with you, so you can understand. Garrett hesitated, then reluctantly agreed. Lyra reached out and touched his forehead, and Garrett's expression shifted from suspicion to awe as he experienced the empathic connection. When it was over, Garrett staggered back, visibly shaken. I didn't know. I felt everything. It's not what I thought. The incident was a turning point. Garrett's change of heart swayed many of his followers, and the resistance to Jack and Lyra's efforts began to dissolve. The colony started to transform, with humans and Zephyrians working side by side, learning from each other, and building a community based on mutual respect and understanding. Jack and Lyra's friendship became a symbol of the new era dawning on Zephyria. Their bond showed that despite differences, true understanding and cooperation were possible. The challenges they faced were significant, but they had taken the first crucial steps toward a future where both species could thrive together. Their friendship faced numerous challenges from both humans and Zephyrians who were wary of change. Yet, Jack and Lyra's bond proved strong enough to withstand the pressure. Their journey inspired others, leading to a new era of understanding and cooperation between the two species, paving the way for a brighter future on Zephyria. One morning, as the sun cast a golden hue over the colony, Jack and Lyra stood before a gathering of humans and Zephyrians. The occasion marked the first official alliance meeting between the two species. Representatives from both sides came together to discuss mutual goals and future projects. Jack addressed the crowd. Today is the beginning of something new. We've learned to see beyond our fears and misunderstandings. Together, we can build a future that benefits everyone. Lyra stepped forward, her presence commanding attention. Our empathic abilities have often been misunderstood. But now, we have the chance to use them to strengthen our bonds. Let's continue to learn from each other and grow together. The audience, filled with both humans and Zephyrians, applauded. It was a historic moment, symbolizing the progress they had made. As the meeting progressed, various projects were proposed: joint agricultural ventures, combined educational programs, and collaborative technological advancements. The energy was palpable, filled with hope and determination. Not everyone was immediately on board, of course. There were still those who harbored doubts and fears. However, Jack and Lyra's unwavering commitment to their vision gradually won over even the most skeptical. They held regular community forums, encouraged open dialogue, and facilitated empathy-sharing sessions to bridge the emotional gap. One evening, as they were walking back to their quarters, Jack turned to Lyra. "Do you ever think about how far we've come?" Lyra nodded, a soft smile on her face. "Every day. But we still have a long way to go. Trust is something that needs to be nurtured continually." Jack agreed. "True. But with people like you, I'm confident we can do it." As the months passed, the colony flourished. Humans and Zephyrians began to integrate more deeply into each other's lives. Friendships formed, partnerships developed, and a new culture emerged, one that blended the best of both worlds. One of the most significant milestones came when a human and a Zephyrian decided to start a family together. It was an unprecedented step, one that symbolized the ultimate unity between the two species. Their child, a symbol of the new era, was celebrated by the entire colony. Jack and Lyra continued to lead by example, their friendship a beacon of hope and possibility. They knew the journey was ongoing, filled with challenges and triumphs, but they were committed to seeing it through. On the first anniversary of their alliance, the colony held a grand celebration. Humans and Zephyrians gathered to commemorate their achievements and look forward to the future. As the festivities reached their peak, Jack and Lyra were called to the stage. Jack looked out at the crowd, filled with pride and hope. "We've come a long way in a short time. This is just the beginning. Together we'll continue to build a world where understanding and cooperation are the foundations of our existence." Lyra added, "Let's never forget the power of empathy and the strength of our shared experiences. Here's to a future where we all thrive together." The crowd erupted in applause, a testament to the unity they had achieved. Jack and Lyra stood side by side, knowing that their friendship had sparked a transformation beyond their wildest dreams. Zephyria was no longer just a mining colony. It was a beacon of hope and a model for what could be achieved when different species came together with open hearts and minds. Subscribe to watch more amazing sci-fi stories.